All right, guys, I'm going to reiterate what I just presented to you guys because I didn't record this for the students the other day, and I'm going to actually slip this into the grouping of things. But here we have sort of a comparative analysis of two volumes that are being connected in some way. This project that you're going to be working on right now is about connecting volumes. Okay? Remember that a volume is a shape that is hollow inside. So in this case, we have two volumes that have been connected face to face. Okay, so these two are connected face to face, and they have all of their edges coplanar, even the bottom. Okay? In this second set of volumes, we have essentially taken the same configuration and again butted it face to face, but we have displaced one back. Now, this condition is far better at expressing the two pieces than this one, but still not exactly a great example. Okay? I don't know where that sketch went that I had. Oh, right here. One of the things about this and this is that they can be interpreted, right? If you can't clearly see that line between them, they can be clearly interpreted as one object, not two. And so I did this sketch for you guys a little bit ago in relation to this, okay? And this kind of illustrates how it's like, it looks like one piece that just is sort of shaped like a Z, okay? Now in this third configuration, we've taken this and what we've done is raised this element up. Now it's still a face-to-face connection, but in raising this element up, none of the surfaces are coplanar. Okay, but there is a face-to-face connection. This one more clearly illustrates than both of these conditions the two separate volumes. It becomes very easy to see this as one piece and this as a completely different piece. In this third element, in this fourth element that we have over here, the one that you guys are currently working on, we have a condition where in addition to moving it back and sliding it up, we've also pushed them together. They've kind of crunched one into the other. Both of these present a condition where you can read each of the original volumes. This one, however, creates a condition where the two distinct original volumes now become one volume. Okay? Because when you're standing inside of this cube, you can clearly see the inside of this one because there's a hole between the two. Okay? In this particular scenario, you can't. This one keeps each of the elements distinct one from the other. Okay? This is a complex, what I'll call a complex aggregation of volumes. Aggregation means to put pieces together. And this one is what I call a collided aggregation, where the two elements are put together, right, but they are forming one new object. This one, in no case will it ever be confused as being one object, because it's clear by them meeting face to face that this is one piece and that's another. This one, however, becomes kind of like an unknown, right, because it could easily have been conceived as a complex volume like that. Now, one last thing that I want to bring up is the notion of when is it okay to have coplanar surfaces and when is it not. For this project that you're going to be working on, there are going to be conditions where you want your volume to be one made out of complex multiple pieces. And there are going to be other conditions where you're going to want your volume to be distinct one from the other, but still express the pieces without becoming blurred as to where does one stop and where does the other start. Okay? So the only condition that is somewhat like is more tolerable or less of a problem is if the floor, the under part, is coplanar. So for example, this piece back here, we know, right, is the same as this one. But if this piece were, that much higher in the back, the ground of both of these would be coplanar, but since this one would be taller than that one, it still expresses each of the pieces. By far the most visually complex and interesting of these conditions is this one, but this one is more than likely utilized in a condition where the volume needs to be one volume, not two separate volumes, although it could be. This one, in this case, the volumes are going to be distinct one from the other. If you pass me that model for a moment, I can show you a condition where this might actually take place. So looking at this model, this was a Evan Chen in Design 2. You have two bedrooms here and two bathrooms directly adjacent to it. These two pieces are face-to-face connections with these. So these two are somewhat related to what's going on here, okay? Now, they still maintain complete autonomy of the spaces, but since this one is lower than this one and the edges are all set back, it still reads in an interesting sort of complex way where each of the elements is expressed. Incidentally, as I mentioned a moment ago, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm going to mention it now. These are bedrooms and these are bathrooms, okay? You guys in your project are going to have a similar condition to this. Okay? Go ahead and stop that, Pepe.